Welcome, Bankless Nation, to this very special episode of Alpha Leak. Alpha Leak episodes are where we uncover and unpack something that's going on that might be bullish in the world of crypto. And on today's episode of Alpha Leak, we're covering the 10K Club and also the 999 Club. There's this weird thing going on in the corner of ENS domains where people are speculating on numbers, digit numbers, especially the low digit numbers. And so two things have been created out of this. There's the 999 Club for people that own ENS numbers, like 999.eth and lower. And now there's also the 10K Club for people that own 9999.eth and lower than that. And a bunch of weird things have spawned out of this. And so we brought on two community members to talk about the whole bull case for the 10K Club and the 999 Club. Like, why are people doing this? How is this being organized? How is this being coordinated? Is this a DAO? Because the answer is no, but also yes. And so we're going to explore all of these things, and we're going to, at the end of this episode, talk about why you might want to own and be a part of the 10K Club. These are the Alpha Leak episodes. We cover these with various communities and various projects throughout the crypto ecosystem. Each individual token or project or community has a bull case for it. So if you are a part of a community and you think the bull case needs to be told, these are the shows for you. So here's what you got to do. You got to grab a team, 3 people, 2 people, anyone who can give the bull case for your project or your team or your protocol or whatever. You got to come up with an agenda, and we got to get you on the show so we can talk about the bull case for your program. And today, of course, we're talking about the bull case for the 10K Club, the 999 Club, and whatever other clubs come out of this ENS domain. We're going to explore that with 2 community members right after we get to some of these fantastic sponsors that make the show possible. ARBITRUM is an Ethereum Layer 2 scaling solution that's going to completely change how we use DeFi and NFTs. Over 300 projects have already deployed to ARBITRUM, and the DeFi and NFT ecosystems are growing rapidly. Some of the coolest and newest NFT collections have chosen ARBITRUM as their home, all the while DeFi protocols continue to see increased usage and liquidity. Using ARBITRUM has never been easier, especially with the ability to deposit directly into ARBITRUM through all the exchanges, including Binance, FTX, Huobi, and Crypto.com. Once inside, you'll notice ARBITRUM increases Ethereum speed by orders of magnitude for a fraction of the cost of the average gas fee. If you're a developer who wants low gas fees and instant transactions for your users, visit arbitrum.io/developer to start building your dApp on ARBITRUM. If you're a degen, many of your favorite dApps on Ethereum are already on ARBITRUM, with many moving over every day. Go to bridge.arbitrum.io now to start bridging over your ETH and other tokens in order to experience DeFi and NFTs in the way it was always meant to be: fast, cheap, secure, and friction-free. The Layer 2 era is upon us. Ethereum's Layer 2 ecosystem is growing every day, and we need bridges to be fast and efficient in order to live a Layer 2 life. Across is the fastest, cheapest, and most secure cross-chain bridge. With Across, you don't have to worry about the long wait times or high fees to get your assets to the chain of your choice. Assets are bridged and available for use almost instantaneously. Across bridges are powered by UMA's optimistic oracle to securely transfer tokens from Layer 2 back to Ethereum. A token proposal is being deliberated as we speak in the Across forum, where community members will decide on the token distribution. You can have your part of Across's story by joining the Discord and becoming a co-founder and helping to design the fair launch of Across. If you want to bridge your assets quickly and securely, go to across.to to bridge your assets between Ethereum, Optimism, Arbitrum, or Boba networks. MakerDAO is the OG DeFi protocol. The MakerDAO produces DAI, the industry's most battle-tested and resilient stablecoin. Using Maker, you don't need to sell your collateral if you need liquidity. Instead, you can spin up a Maker vault and use your collateral to mint DAI directly. With Maker, the power to mint new money is in your hands. The Maker protocol is extremely hardened and operated by one of the most experienced DAOs in existence. They've been here since the beginning, they've seen it all, and so you can mint DAI with the assurance that your collateral is safe. Soon, Maker will be present on all chains and L2s, so minting DAI can take place on Oasis.app, Zerion, Zapper, or any other DeFi protocol that you use. Follow Maker on Twitter @MakerDAO and learn from the oldest and most resilient DAO in existence. All right, guys, let's get this show on the road. I'm here with 2 community members from this crazy, weird 10K Club project. On the bottom, you see Leo, who's also 562.eth. And then on the top right, you'll see soy.eth, also Patrick, also 713.eth. These are 2 community members, I guess, from this not DAO thing that's being created. Patrick, Leo, thanks for coming on to this Alpha League show. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Cheers. Okay, guys, let's get right into it. How did this whole thing start? And also, what the hell is going on? What is happening in the world of like low digit ENS names, and how did this whole thing get started? Leo, I'll throw that one to you.
Well, I probably started off with my personal story, and it kind of like will touch on all of these things. So majority of us were actually following, or I know I was following at the beginning, a NFT influencer, Daniel Got Hits, and when he was talking about ENS domains and giving ideas, giving alpha, different ideas, things to get. And then he just made a post saying it would be such a flex to own a 3-digit domain, and they weren't minted out at all. He just said it would be such a flex. And then his next tweet, or in that tweet, he attached how much Dubai number plates were being sold for. And he was like, well, if the number plates are being sold for a lot, what happens when these people enter the Web3 space? They're probably going to want these 3-digit domains as a flex. That's how it began. A few hours after that, or within like
just 2 tweets,
just on Twitter, yeah.
Wow.
And then us being degens, we started minting them out. I didn't mint it out. I actually bought both of mine at 1 ETH each. And then the community started saying, this is all organic, no idea, no founders. Started saying, hey, why don't we form a club called the 999, where just a club for people who hold 3 digits. And then that's where it personally hit me. And it was like, I said, the 999 is going to be the most exclusive club in the world of ENS. And I want to be a part of that. It's no doubt going to start attracting some gigabrains. Just because I watched your interview with Kevin Rose and I started thinking about proof. And I'm like, this is an inevitability. So then the 999 got together, and then people started moving on to 4 digits. And then the 10K Club was essentially launched. There's a more detailed story for this, but I don't want to take up too much time on this answer. I actually wrote a thread about it. There's threads about it on Twitter to explain the full story, but it was just organically launched, no founders, unruggable, and it just came about. That's why there's such a passionate community behind it. And then we formed the whole idea of I am my digits are me, and it's been crazy ever since.
So it's just really this like property of ENS and numbers. Like, so humans created numbers. We also created ENS. And so people just slammed these two things together and started playing the speculative game on low digit ENS names. I mean, the bull case, of course, for ENS is that it's going to be the domain system of planet Earth in the future. And so like there should be no like surprise that people are playing speculative games in the same way with ENS names as they are with .com domains. But like, I think it's the numbers thing that is really just like the kind of funny meme aspect about this.
See, it's looked at as a meme, but I think it's best to take it back to first principles, right? .eth domains are going to essentially be your personal point of identification in the Web3 world. When we actually jumped on Spaces with Nick.eth, the creator of ENS, and he said it's going to be your Web3 passport. So every time I I have a touch point with someone, they're going to see my .eth domain. It's going to be my bank account, my email, my login. And if we take a look at the idea of numbers across cultures give them importance, especially low digits. In the Middle East, it's not a flex to own a Rolls Royce. It's a flex to own a Rolls Royce that has a multi-million-dollar low digit number plate attached to it, right? So if you want to think about it, if I'm going to constantly touch base with people in the Web3 world, having a low digit domain is essentially me walking around with a low digit number plate strapped to my forehead, right? In the real world, it's just constantly going to be a touch point. Cultures like in the Asian cultures, Chinese culture, they value numbers, right? They make decisions based on numbers. We had a whale who came and bought 555.eth for 55.5 Ethereum. And then he was located and asked why he did it. And he said, just for fun. So it's beyond just the community. There is intrinsic value in holding these low digits, especially when they're going to be used as your personal point of identification. No different to a prestigious profile picture or a verified tick on Twitter.
Patrick, I want to get your story in on this. How did you discover this whole like ENS thing? Where did you, what's your genesis with this whole like 10K club thing?
Well, if I go all the way back, I mean, I got an ENS in 2020, and I thought this was gonna be a thing eventually. But I didn't think numbers would be like the thing, as big as like specific words. And so I only had one 3-digit number when this thing happened, and I was the one tweeting about it. Like me, Daniel, some other people were talking about the numbers, and we're like, "There's only a few left. Like, maybe we should actually grab them." Because like we're tweeting about them, but we only had a couple ourselves. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna grab another one, and I sold it for 3 ETH, and I still have my 1 3-digit. I picked up some more 4 digits, and it's actually mind blowing, and it makes sense like in hindsight. And it's just like, it's like I was tweeting this stuff out, and it's like I kind of faded myself a little bit. But I'm glad I'm still holding and stuff. And yeah, I don't know. I think there's a crazy future for it, like Daniel said, or like Leo said, with the license plates and whatnot.
Right. Yeah, if this is like our self-chosen like social security number of the metaverse, which any ENS name can be really, like there's not any meaningful difference between the numbers and like davidhoffman.eth, for example, or like soy.eth, which Patrick you have. But also it's just kind of, it's just like a shelling point, right? It's just like there is a fence around the numbers only ENS names and like all the other ENS names, just because like it's numbers, and like because people like to be in, like at least in the West, we really like our lines, and when everyone wants to be first in line all the time. And so I feel like it's that same kind of property. We're just like, first, like got here first, like look at my very low number, I'm earlier than you, even though you could have come in later, but it doesn't really matter because the number is so low. So what kind of like behaviors have you guys seen in the community? Like how are people picking what numbers they want to get? Like are they just finding the cheapest 4-digit number that they can find, or like are they playing like, I don't know, maybe they're going for like prime numbers? Like how are people valuing different ENS digit numbers differently? Leo, I'll throw that one to you.
Yeah, so people are going with birthdays, postcodes. Some people, if you're holding a Zuki or a Bored Ape, you're getting the respective number that your Bored Ape actually has as an ID. Palindromes, lucky numbers as well is a big thing.
But there's no central thesis. Everyone just has their own flavor.
Not really. No, not really. And that was like the beautiful thing at the very beginning, is that initially we had the option to mint what we wanted. So people were actually getting something that was meaningful to them. Now it's become more of a secondary thing. So you're just getting a number to have essentially a pass into the 10K club or a pass into the 999 club. So it's become less, say, meaningful. But there are still people who are so attached to that initial number that they got that they wouldn't ever think about, selling, because it's become part of like their identity. So that's the type of behavior that, the decision making that people took.
Yeah, and I can definitely tell from the chat this meme of my digits are me, or what's the line?
I am my digits are me.
Yeah,
is the line. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like
Awesome.
so I'm in the 10K club. My number starts with a 6. I can't remember what number it is, so I need to go check that. But I'm sure as soon as I go realize what my 4-digit numbers are, I'm gonna have that like number baked into my brain. And it'll just be like a part of me. Has anyone gotten a tattoo yet? Is that what's next?
Not that I know of. I'm sure someone will.
Not that I know.
Yeah.
Like I know Patrick as 713.
Yeah.
His entire identity is built around that. I didn't even really know his name, and it didn't matter because our numbers became our point of identity. And it's why it happened. The explanation behind it is it's a difficult one to say. All I can say is it did happen.
Uh-huh. So what's making the community so excited? Like, what are people? I mean, I'm trying to like ask my typical questions when I'm like, okay, like, what's the roadmap, guys? But like, is there a roadmap? And if there's not a roadmap, what makes the community so excited about this whole thing?
You want me to take that one? So
yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So like Leo said, it formed kind of spontaneously, and it was just like, hey, let's make this little club. And then a week later it blew up, almost 7,000 people in the Discord. There's articles around the world, and part of the reason like Daniel stepped down is he was like, this thing is really blowing up. We just try to make this club, and I want to make it Daniel proof, like because he was fully doxxed, he's an influencer, and he's like, I don't want something bad to happen in this. It's like if he gets canceled for whatever reason. And he's like, so this is going into your hands now. I want to protect the community. I'm taking a step back. And there's no DAO, but I mean, honestly, there's no limitations to what can happen. I mean, we have a huge community. We have plans. There's multiple ways that we've thought about how to get funding.
Okay, so we are thinking about actually producing a treasury.
Yes, potentially. And so one of the co-admins and the server owner, AOX, Aaron, he's the creator of ENS tools.
Okay.
And we also have Zemente, who is the ENS visions creator. And they're working together right now, coming up with a marketplace potentially, which could bring in some revenue. People in the chat, they're talking about merch, and people are mentioning, the word DAO, the word treasury. And there's a lot of things we can do. We can have real life events, ENS education, and that's a big thing because people really aped into these numbers and they don't know what they hold. They know they own a number, but it's like they buy and then afterwards they're like, so now what? Like, what do I do with this thing? So I've been really trying to push the education on that.
Leo, any other perspective is like what gets the community going about this whole thing?
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, everything that 713 said, because he's 713 to me, everything that he said, in addition to that, so there is no like Degens hub for ENS maxis, and the 10K club has essentially been that. So if you're a part of the club, you're on the forefront of the education. You're going to be at the forefront of the next thing that's going to take place. So it's a place to come get educated, get alpha. We've got alpha channels set up. And if you think of, and if we take it even a step backwards and we go say to the 999 and the value within that has grown. It's got legs of its own now. The 999 chat, the reviews who've held Bored Apes or whatever community they've been a part of, they've said, I've never seen a community like this. The relationships that I have personally developed have been so beautiful. We had a catch up yesterday with a few members, and then they were so bullish after the meeting. 005 was purchased for 50 ETH and 006 was purchased for 32 ETH from people who were in this chat being like, this is how bullish we are on this. And the type of brains that it's attracting, what happens is people sell off and then new people replace them. The entry point becomes more higher and higher. So and then there are those who are the earlier diamond handsing are there for the right reasons. I couldn't even think about selling. I want to be a part of the 999 and have that network. And now we're already talking about meetups, and there's a member I've developed a good relationship with, and a few others. We're just like, he's like, hey, come to Singapore, I'll host you guys, and I'm seriously considering it. So don't be surprised if you see me in Singapore soon. Like it's that community culture, and then it's expanded obviously to the 10K club as well, which is a little more difficult to do because there's larger numbers and a higher turnover than the 999, but it can be achieved with time.
Well, so I mean, you can even go beyond the 10K club to the 100K club, and you can keep on going to the million club. And so like it's not like there's just two clubs. It's like a concentric circle of clubs all the way. And it's kind of like people want to like work their way, if they want to play the ENS numbers game, they want to work their way into the innermost club possible, right? And so if we do believe that ENS comes to take over the world and blanket the globe as the new like domain name system of planet Earth, like our children will be playing like the 100 million club game or something like that, and they're going to be like playing the game to try and get to like the 10 million club game and trying to get to play the game to get into the 1 million club game. I mean, this is the thesis, this is the theory, this is the idea, I'm assuming. But also I have to ask the question, just like, if everyone is just like talking about going to Dubai and everyone's super bullish and aping into like the lowest digit numbers possible for like 50 ETH, like, is this a mania? Like, is this sustainable? How do you guys know that this isn't just like a flash in the pan like all the other NFT projects that we've seen? Either of you want to, Patrick?
Go for it if you want to get Patrick.
So if you think about like .com, for example, not everybody needed a DNS. Like no one needed a .com unless you're like a business owner. And you look at those sales, and I think like the average 3-digit sale price is like 300K, and same with like 4-digit numbers, so like 50K or so. And I think ENS has a lot more possibilities in the future than like a .com ever has, mainly because of subdomains. And so for example, like I have 713.eth. That's the area code for Houston, Texas. So people from Houston, they can, I can maybe someday I'll rent like lease out subdomains to them, and they won't need 713.eth, but they can have like jake.713.eth or their business.713.eth. and whatever else they want. They could have Moonbird 713.eth. So there's a lot more possibilities.
Okay, yeah, let's lean into like what is the true utility? Like what's the true utility of this thing beyond just like this social club? Like how can you monetize this thing? How can we convince the skeptics that there is like real value here? Yeah, I'll throw that one to you.
As far as like the utility of ENS itself, I think Patrick's the best person to answer that. But for me, I can talk more from, say, getting involved in a community, from a community perspective. A lot of the projects that people ape into, they're aping into projects based on community, with the idea that there's something big coming down the line. So something that hasn't been delivered yet. It's always a promise of a roadmap that hasn't been delivered yet, but they hang out and they stick around due to community. The 10K Club is the most organic community that's ever been launched. It is the place to hang out where you're instantly going to, have friends. The engagement on Twitter is insane. And then the 999 Club, you asked it before, well, what if it's just mania? It's not like, these sales are happening like crazy. We actually went through a period where there wasn't any 3-digit sales for like 24 to 48 hours, and everyone held strong because the reason that people are in that club is for the right reasons. We're more focused on alpha, more focused on networking, on relationships, on essentially being around gigabrains. That's the idea. Now we want to try and translate that to the 10K Club. Like I mentioned, it's a bit of more of a challenge, but that's essentially the utility. But there, in addition to community, I think 713 can talk about, or Patrick can talk about the actual, subdomaining potential and from a more technical perspective.
Yeah. 713. You want to lean into that a little bit more? I know you were talking about that with like renting out subdomains, but like, what is like the bull case of the utility of these things?
So before I get into that, I'm gonna first finish on Leo's part, where we actually also have a lot of communities that have like helped us out because they know like we didn't have funding, like we didn't sell people NFTs, we just formed this community. So a lot of people are helping us out where they're building tools for us for free, just Gem, PopRank, and a lot more. And then for the subdomain part, so I mentioned how you can possibly lease them out, and it's a bit speculative, but then you look at things that already exist. Decentraland, for example, they built their own subdomain wrapper years ago, and those are your usernames in Decentraland. So I used to own a plot in Decentraland, and I could just use my DCL, my Decentraland subdomain. So like, let's say it wasn't soy, but let's say it was soy.dcl.eth. I typed that in my browser and it loads up the Decentraland webpage specifically with the coordinates to log into my plot. And that's just one example. They monetize that. You had to pay mana to create that username or subdomain. And Budweiser, for example, they bought beer.eth, and now if you look at their subdomains, they register like budlight.eth and Stella, and I think several more. So those are all brands that fall under Anheuser-Busch, because like Anheuser-Busch owns Budweiser and Bud Light and so many others. So they're organizing their whole company with those subdomains. But if they wanted to in the future, like let's say when the ENS name wrapper comes out, they'll be able to potentially like sell other beer brands subdomains under beer.eth if they wanted to. There's a lot more situations like that. I mean, it's really early. The name wrapper's not even out, which I'm not sure if you know what that is, but it'll allow subdomains to be traded as their own NFTs.
Okay.
So
like,
we're really early.
So
but...
like you have 7.13.eth, and then you could wrap up, I don't know, any other number .713.eth. So you could wrap up 999.713.eth and sell that. Is that the idea?
Sort of. So it's not, you're not wrapping up the, you're not like, so 999.eth, that's its own like second level domain, I think you call it.
Right.
Now, so 713.eth, I can issue subdomains and people could choose what they want under my name. And those currently can't really be traded because I issue them out as the parent domain and I can delete them and like revoke access or whatever anytime I want right now. But when the names are wrapped, those subdomains, I'll be able to, the parent can burn permissions so the subdomain owner can prove like like that they own that domain. It can't be taken away, and it'll be an ERC 11555 token.
Mhm.
So they'll be able to trade those, sell them just like Decentraland subdomains.
So there are markets that can emerge on top of these assets.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know like what kind of parameters you can control? Like, can you control trading fees?
I don't think so. There's quite a few though. They're called fuses. You can make them so if you wanted to, they're not transferable, which would be kind of weird. So like, I guess you could send someone a non-transferable. I'm not sure if you could send someone a non-transferable subdomain. I mean, we'll have to wait and see, but that's one of the options I saw. There's a lot of weird stuff.
Okay, guys, there's a few topics I want to talk about coming up in the second half of the show, so I'm going to tease them now. But just like this idea of like it's a DAO, but it's not a DAO, but it's actually many DAOs, but there's actually no DAO is like really interesting to me. So I want to like explore what happens when you break the walls of what a DAO means. Like we didn't just issue NFTs. It's not this profile picture thing, but also it's operating and acting as if a DAO, as if it is a DAO. And just some other conversations around the numbers games that are going on. So all of that's coming up in the second half of the show, right after we get to some of these fantastic sponsors that make the show possible. If you're trying to grow and preserve your crypto wealth, optimizing your taxes is just as lucrative as trying to find the next hidden gem. ALTO IRA can help you invest in crypto in tax-advantaged ways to help you preserve your hard-earned money. ALTO Crypto IRA lets you invest in more than 150 coins and tokens with all the same tax advantages of an IRA. They make it easy to fund your alternative IRA or crypto IRA via your 401k or by contributing directly from your bank account. There is no setup or account fees, and it's all you need to do to invest in crypto tax-free. Let me repeat that again. You can invest in crypto tax-free. Diversify like the pros and trade without tax headaches. Open an ALTO Crypto IRA to invest in crypto tax-free. Just go to altoira.com/bankless. That's ALTOIRA.com/bankless and start investing in crypto today. The Brave browser is the user-first browser for the Web3 internet with over 50 million monthly active users. Control your digital footprint with built-in privacy and ad blocking. Inside the Brave browser, you'll find the Brave Wallet, the first secure crypto wallet built natively inside of a Web3 crypto browser. Web3 is freedom from big tech and Wall Street, more control and better privacy. But there's a weak point in Web3, your crypto wallet. The Brave Wallet is different. Brave Wallet is built natively inside the Brave browser, no extension required, which gives the Brave Wallet an extra level of security versus other wallets. With the Brave Wallet, you can buy, store, send, and swap your crypto assets, and you can even manage your NFTs and connect to other wallets and DeFi apps, all from the security of the best privacy browser on the market. Whether you're new to crypto or a seasoned pro, it's time to switch to the Brave Wallet. Download Brave at brave.com/bankless and click the wallet icon to get started. AAVE is the leading decentralized liquidity protocol, and now AAVE v3 is here. AAVE v3 has powerful new features to enable you to get the most out of DeFi, including isolation mode, which allows for many more markets to be launched with more exotic collateral types, and also efficiency mode, which allows for higher loan-to-value ratios, and of course, portals, allowing users to port their AAVE position across all of the networks that AAVE operates on, like Polygon, Phantom, Avalanche, Arbitrum, Optimism, and Harmony. The beautiful thing about AAVE is that it's completely open source, decentralized, and governed by its community, enabling a truly bankless future for us all. To get your first crypto collateralized loan, get started at aave.com. That's AAVE.com. And also check out the AAVE protocol governance forums to see what more than 100,000 DAO members are all raving about at governance.aave.com. All right, guys, we are back for the second half of the show. And in the second half, we want to talk about a little bit about how this is a DAO, but it's also not a DAO. And there seems to be just a fractalization of clubs, of ENS clubs going on, but because it is a DAO because it operates like a DAO. People are buying tokens, they're speculating on them, whether it's an NFT profile picture DAO or it's people trying to like all focus around some ERC20 token. There's bags involved. People have their assets that they would like to talk about, and there's community involved. But it also breaks the mold of a DAO too, because the 999 Club is a subset of the 10K Club. And so it's like a club within a club. And there also seems to be just like many other clubs being spun out of this thing that are like peripheral or adjacent to the 10K Club. So Patrick, can you just talk about like the differences between when people typically talk about the word DAO and like what's going on in like this ENS Club thing that's going on? Also, what do you even call this? Like the 10K Club, the 999 Club? Like how do we even call this thing?
Yeah, so it's the 10K Club. And like Leo mentioned earlier, it started out as the 999 Club, and then there's kind of these like 10K clubs being thrown around while they're still minting out. Everyone's like, well, we should create a 10K club if there's a 999 club. But some people started getting 0000 to 0999. So they're basically 4 digits, and we were 3 digits. And so when Daniel created the Discord, he's like, everybody's welcome. Like, just, if you have a 3 digit or a 4 digit, you're welcome to join. So now we're the 10K club with 11K possible members, 11K numbers. So, and I think mainstream hates that probably because it doesn't make sense to them.
Right.
But so with a DAO, I mean, all right, so I wouldn't call it a DAO personally. I mean, by the textbook definition of it, like decentralized application Oracle, I think it means
decentralized autonomous organization.
Yeah, thanks. So yeah, I wouldn't call it a DAO. But the community did, it arose really organically. Everyone made their own choices. It kind of just, there wasn't like this one person that just said like, hey, I'm in charge. Like I'm the numbers king. Like it's just, everybody just started buying numbers, and we all formed together into one Discord, one group. And then, ENS itself, they have a DAO. It's an open source protocol. It's like a public good, and you could buy whatever you want under ENS, anything almost. And we decided to buy numbers, make this club, and then there's people with different subsets of that, hyphens and 0x and pre-punk ENS domains, emoji domains, and we're all deciding like what we think is valuable. And yeah, it's definitely happening in a decentralized manner, but we don't have like a DAO like textbook style like treasury or anything. So
Sure. Leo, talk about what is all like the little other groups that are forming out of this thing, because Patrick talked about how there's actually 11K 10K club members. Is there controversy as to whether that extra 1,000 ENS numbers are actually in the 10K or not? Like, is there consensus around that answer? And like what other clubs are people forming in this whole 10K movement?
Yeah, so I think like at the very beginning there was questions around that, and then it just happened. Like it's very difficult to kind of go back and restructure something that just someone created the 10K club and it just stuck, right? If we go back and now change it to 11K, it throws off the branding, and 10K also it just hones under the umbrella that its numbers up to 10K. Like it's not beyond. We don't have 11 and beyond, right? And in terms of the other clubs, so naturally what happened is when the 3 digits minted out, then they got, started getting pricier, 4 digits minted out, and then that continued. And then people started creating these subsections like the hyphen club, like palindromes, like the things that you mentioned. And the best part about like this community that we've built is that it is 100% community-led, community-driven, right? So there was actually controversy between whether to keep all these different chats within the 10K Discord by 10K holders. And obviously there was a lot of back and forth, but it wasn't one person who said, no, this is the way it's going to be. We actually put it to a community vote. We held spaces with hundreds of members. Tens of members actually jumped on and gave their opinion, and we had an incredible discourse. And we decided as a community, obviously there's some people who voted no, but as a community, that the best way forward for the 10K club is to support ENS as a whole, to open the doors to education, to open the doors to all clubs to be formed, because rising tides lift all boats. That was the essential idea. If you want to be part of an ENS, DGen hub where there's alpha being shared, join the 10K club. If you want to take it a step up, join the 999. If you want to form your own club, go and do so. We're going to support you. Come and put forward a request, get enough traction, we'll add you to our Discord, or you can start your own Discord. There's no one telling anyone that they can do what they can and they cannot do. So that's the essential idea of it all.
Okay, but give me your opinion on this. So what, and maybe this is less of an opinion, but maybe it's actually shown up in the markets. What's more valuable, like 0555.eth or 555.eth? Because like they're the
No,
same
three
number,
digits.
right? 3 digits, right? And so like
It's 3 digits. Yeah. So
the people that start their numbers with zeros, are they like on the like how, I guess it doesn't even matter if there's no like official like way of like drawing lines around these communities, but it's just like, I think it's just this one shared meme of like, yeah, I own 0.0234.eth or something, and like I'm part of the same meme as the actual 234.eth. Doesn't actually really matter here.
I don't think it like that hasn't actually been a real big point of controversy, because the idea has just been 3 digits, 4 digits. It really just has been like that. You know, it's 3 digits or 4 digits. 3 digits you're in the 999, 4 digits you're in, you know, the wider 10K. It hasn't. There was probably a little bit of talk, but it hasn't been a big point of controversy. And at the end of the day, the market deems what's valuable or not, and they've deemed that the 3 digits more valuable than say, but the 553 is worth more than 932. You know what I'm saying? So because it's closer down.
Okay. So what about like, I'm seeing a lot of like on the bot sales on Twitter, seeing like emoji sales, and also people are talking about hyphens in the YouTube chat. What's going on with all these things? Patrick,
so
this one, yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So the emoji ENS domains, those have been around for quite a while. There's some other Discord way back. I'm not sure, you know, what's happening there. I haven't stopped in, but there's always been this little emoji group going on. The hyphens, they kind of sprung up after everything sold out. I think I might be wrong on that. And you know, they've been pretty loud with you know, spreading their group and stuff. We've had some fun scuffles with them, but you know, ultimately, I believe we added that group back as well to our channel. So yeah.
Well, so I believe as we just started this stream, 5-digit ENS names have been sold out. So yes. I guess congratulations to the Not DAO organization of the 10K Club. Like, do you guys have opinions on how fast it's going to take for 6-digit ENS names to get sold out?
Oof, the million club.
Yeah,
that's going to be crazy. That's going to, but we encourage it all. We push for it all. The more the merrier. Go, keep minting, keep going. You know, they're going to be minted eventually, but how long? I don't know. What do you think, Patrick?
I don't know. I mean, I think I didn't expect 10K to sell out, let alone 5K. So, I mean, I'm sure it's possible. It's probably going to happen. ENS is way different than DNS, but personally, I think the people that are, if you're registering random 6-digit numbers, like maybe you should go back and, you know, instead of chasing hype, try to look for some gems out there. Because just last week, I mean, there's still pretty good domains left, like metaverse sell tokens.eth, like weed sale.eth. I registered all those like a week or two ago. So I mean, if you're registering like 695,438.eth, I mean, you know, maybe you should, you know, think for yourself a little bit and try to find some gems. So just be careful with it.
Right. Even as the 10K Club does indeed grow in value and meme power, it doesn't mean that like on the frontiers of this whole movement where people are minting the highest numbers that are available, there are still some ENS domains that are not part of the 10K Club that are probably still useful to own. I think that's the takeaway there.
And we talk about those, like that's part of the alpha chat. You know, it's just in the alpha chat, it's, hey, this is available, or why don't we think I just did this, or I just discovered this new thing, right? Like that's part of the alpha chat. You know, the idea is just to push ENS education, push ENS alpha, and just keep being degens, you know?
So what would you say is the relationship between members of the 10K Club and ENS token holders? Like, obviously there's going to be more overlap than typical, but like, is there strong alignment between ENS DAO and the 10K Club, or is the ENS DAO just something that just speculates on ENS and helps ENS grow its treasury? Patrick, you want to throw that one? Yeah. Yeah,
the ENS DAO, I mean, that's separate. That's completely separate from the 10K Club. Like, we're not related at all. You know, that's their treasury from like the domain registrations and renewals and whatnot. And that's how they fund their development of the protocol and whatever else they do.
But since this whole movement has started, like ENS prices, I think like almost 2x'd. And I definitely think it's because of the shenanigans going on in the 10K Club, right?
Yes.
Definitely. Yeah, it kind of sparked a movement, and a lot of like millions, I think millions of dollars have gone into that DAO. In my opinion, mainly because of the 10K club sparking that movement. But
yeah.
So bullish EON. If you're bullish 10K, you're also bullish ENS. Do you think that
Correct.
is a viable strategy to get exposure to the 10K club? But if NFTs scare you and you might want to do an ERC20 token, maybe just buy ENS?
I'm not really sure. I wouldn't really recommend it that way, but it's a little hard to.
Well, awesome, guys. Yeah, go for it, Leo.
I was just going to say the other really cool thing about .eth domains as a whole, but even with digits, is that you can have them for represent you, whilst also moving from NFT project to project, changing that profile picture. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's on its little league on its own. I can have 562 and then have a board 8, and as my profile picture. So it's kind of like a double flex, double representation, double way to explain who you are and represent yourself in this growing space.
I will have to say, when I first learned of this whole movement, I immediately went to go check if 1118 was available, because that's the number of my CryptoPunk right there. And no, indeed, it was not. But I did find a 4-digit that is available, which I'm going to go. I have to find that number. Leo, Patrick, 713562.eth. Guys, thank you so much. Are there any other thoughts or comments that you want to leave the 10K Club community and the broader Bankless Nation with? Leo, any thoughts from you?
I'd probably say this is just my belief, this is my opinion, that it's just really the beginning. It really is the beginning. And we have the power as a community to decide where this thing goes. The potential is we can't even say, because look what we've done in the matter of 8 to 10 days. Started with minting 3 digits to all 100K digits minted out, and this incredible community that's being formed. We're still going through hiccups where we're finding our way as a community, but the storm will settle, and we'll eventually we're going to have something very beautiful at the end of this. Personally, for myself, 713, a lot of 999ers and 10K members, we've been putting in 8 to 10 hour days, barely sleeping. I'm in Australia, so all the activity happens when I sleep. So I've been staying up, barely sleeping, to give back to this community out of love. Where does that come from? Does that come from, I mean, I have 2-3 digits, that's cool, but I could just chill on them and get someone else to increase value. It comes from a passion that you have for a community. It's something really, really special that we have going on. So that's my final remarks. Really the beginning, and stick around, and I have a feeling it's going to be awesome 6 months from now. Patrick?
Any thoughts from you?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, don't overexpose yourself. It's all speculative. Anything can happen. And if you want to take profits, don't feel bad doing so. I did. I told them my 3 digits at 3 ETH. I mean, obviously not a great play, but I'm still glad. Like, profit is profit. So
what's the three digit floor right now?
I think it is like
14 or 15. 15 ETH.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. All right. Sorry to cut you off, 713 anymore.
No, that's fine. Yeah, it just again, seek out education. There's a lot of ENS tutorials and education, so you own more than just a number. Remember that.
Well, awesome, guys. Thank you so much for helping me unpack this whole crazy world of this not DAO thing that's going on. The 10K Club, maybe the 10K Club of the metaverse. So maybe it is the new status signal. It's the new bottom-up org, the center of a very, very big set of concentric circles of much larger numbers. So 713562, thank you for coming on and helping me get this Alpha Leak episode out the door.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. Big fans.
Awesome. Cheers, guys. There are some links in the show notes that are not there yet, but I will put them there. Things that are like explorers around the ENS ecosystem and tools that you can check out if you want to speculate in the dangerous game of speculation. They will be available to you. But of course, this is not financial advice. ETH is risky. DeFi is risky. The 10K Club, also risky. You can lose what you put in, but we are headed west. We're on the frontier. It's not for everyone, but we're glad you're with us on the Bankless journey. Thanks a lot. Hey, we hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, head over to Bankless HQ right now to develop your crypto investing skills and learn how to free yourself from banks and gain your financial independence. We recommend joining our daily newsletter, podcast, and community as a Bankless Premium subscriber to get the most out of your Bankless experience. You'll get access to our market analysis, our alpha leaks, and exclusive content, and even the Bankless token for airdrops, raffles, and unlocks. If you're interested in crypto, the Bankless community is where you want to be. Click the link in the description to become a Bankless Premium subscriber today. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for in-depth interviews with industry leaders, Ask Me Anythings, and weekly roll-ups where we summarize the week in crypto and other fantastic content. Thanks everyone for watching and being on the journey as we build out the Bankless Nation.